Hello, and welcome to the Marijuana Media Minute. I'm your host, Nadia Swaby, and this is your top marijuana-related news. In a stunning victory for medical marijuana reform, the American College of Physicians, the nation's largest medical specialty organization, has spoken out in favor of medical marijuana. In a landmark position paper, the ACP formally recognizes the therapeutic benefits of medical marijuana, calls for the legal protection of medical marijuana patients, a reconsideration of marijuana's federal classification as a Schedule I drug, and expanded research into the field of medical marijuana. Here to talk to us more about this new development and what it means is Joe Haptis, Director of Outreach for the Marijuana Policy Project. Joe, thanks for being here with us today. Can you tell me a little bit more about the American College of Physicians?
Sure. The American College of Physicians is the second largest physician organization in the United States, second only to the American Medical Association, who, I might add, are neutral, essentially neutral on the position of medical marijuana. They also, the American College of Physicians, they publish the Annals of Internal Medicine, which is the most widely cited specialty medical journal in the world, which is very impressive. So what we're talking about with this American College of Physicians report is an organization that is essentially the elite of organized medicine.
Wow, what is the significance of this report, and what are the most important elements that you see in it?
Well, I see four key points that I think are really interesting to take note of. First of all, they recognize that medical marijuana is a proven effective treatment for symptom relief and has a relatively low level of toxicity. This is something we've known for a long time. The 1999 Institute of Medicine report stated the same thing. But when it comes from an organization representing 124,000 physicians, it carries that much more weight. Yeah. Second of all, they call for reclassification of marijuana. It's currently classified as a Schedule I drug, which means it has no accepted medical uses. That on its face is essentially recognized as absurd by mostly everybody except the federal government and the Food and Drug Administration. So this is another strike, heavy blow against that. Third, it calls for full protection, both civil and criminal, for medical marijuana patients in the 12 medical marijuana states. We have some problems with the DEA, the Drug Enforcement Administration, raiding and arresting medical marijuana patients. So this is a direct call to the DEA to say, hey, stop arresting patients, leave them alone, let the states administer these programs. And fourth, there's a stunning rebuke in there, in the report, about the difference between the science and the federal government and the differences there. And the science is very strong on this issue, and yet we're still not seeing the movement through the federal government. They're still refusing this. So it's a really strong, powerful report overall, and we're very happy to see it.
Wow, so what do you think the ramifications will be of this report in the political and policy circles?
Well, this is, for all intents and purposes, the second most significant endorsement you could ever see about medical marijuana. This outside of the American Medical Association, who, as I said, are neutral on the issue. We've got pending legislation and initiatives in a number of states where they're considering medical marijuana this year in 2008. That will include Illinois, Michigan, Minnesota, Connecticut, and New York State. So having this kind of organization's backing, the American College of Physicians on Medical Marijuana Access, is very, very key and important. On the federal level, there's the Hinchy-Rohrbacher Federal Medical Marijuana Amendment, which essentially tells the federal government, the DEA in particular, not to raid and arrest patients. And this will be coming up again for a vote in June and July of 2008. The language within the ACP report is very clear. It is essentially saying this is not acceptable to raid and arrest patients in medical marijuana states when they have recommendations from their doctors. So I think the ramifications are going to be big.
How do you think the Food and Drug Administration is going to react, given that in April of 2006, they declared that there are no sound scientific studies that support the medical use of marijuana for treatment in the United States?
Yeah, I think they're going to have a little egg on their face on this one. It can't be spun any other way. I mean, the science has been so strong. The clinical studies, the research, the epidemiological research, the patient testimonials on the efficacy of medical marijuana is indisputable. And it's really been a political decision at the FDA. So obviously they're going to be really embarrassed about this, and they're going to try very hard to ignore. But I suspect we're coming close to the tipping point on medical marijuana, and that the science just cannot be ignored anymore. It's become so blatantly apparent.
How do you think the drug czar of the Office of National Drug Control Policy is going to react?
Well, I kind of think of them as the Flat Earth Society at this point. They're not going to change their opinions on this kind of stuff. They are going to ignore any kind of truth, that any kind of reports. They've always ignored these things, and they will continue to ignore them. And that's sad, and it's pathetic. And hopefully, a new administration with less of a political agenda will open their eyes and just say, hey, medical marijuana is a separate issue from recreational uses of marijuana, and that we have to minimize patient suffering out there and make these things easy for people instead of living under the threat of arrest.
Well, Joe, thank you so much for joining us.
Thanks.
I'm Nadia Swaby, and this has been your top marijuana-related news. I hope you'll join us again here on the Marijuana Media Minute.